Hey everybody, it's Brian with the Droid Effect, and today I'm doing a comparison video with two of the absolute best 8-inch tablets that you can get on the market right now. On the left you have the LG G Pad Google Play Edition, and on the right you have the Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4. This video is to kind of help those who are on the fence, who haven't bought an 8-inch tablet yet but are in the market, to help them decide, which one do you prefer? Do you want the stock Android experience? Do you want TouchWiz? And we're going to go over all that stuff right now. Let's go over some of the specs. With the G-Pad, you have an 8.3-inch display that's 1920 by 1200. It has 273 pixels per inch, 2 gigs of RAM. It is powered by a 1.7 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon 600 processor and is running stock Android 4.4.2. With the Galaxy Tab 8.4, you have an 8.4-inch display with a 2560 by 1600 resolution with 359 pixels per inch, 2 gigs of RAM, and it's powered by the 2.3 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon 800 processor and is running Android 4.4.2 as well with TouchWiz. So both of these devices are running the exact same version of Android. One is stock, one is TouchWiz. Let's see which one is right for you. So let's first go over build quality here. So I already have a G-Pad review out. I'll leave a link in the description below, but I'll go over it real quick. The G-Pad has an edge-to-edge panel here. There's no lip. The back is made out of aluminum. It has a very premium feel. It has stereo speakers that face downward. At the top, it has a 3.5mm headphone jack, a micro SD card slot, an infrared sensor that doesn't work with the Google Play Edition. It only works with the LG version. And at the bottom, you have your micro USB port. With the Galaxy Tab Pro, you have a little bit different feel. The display goes to an edge but has a nice fine lip to it, easy for gripping. It's an aluminum trim that comes around. Here you have your infrared scanner, volume rocker and button, 3.5mm headphone jack, and your micro SD card slot. And at the bottom you have your dual speakers and micro USB. At the back you have this fake leather-like material that is heads above the glossy plastic that has plagued Galaxy devices for so long. This is a really nice material. It's very grippy, especially with this lip here. When you're talking about holding the tablet, I much prefer to hold the Galaxy Tab over the G-Pad. That's if I'm not using a case, of course. Now at the bottom here, I'm going to point this out, the Galaxy Tab still uses a physical home button. It has a back button and multitasking window. And here we have the stock Android soft keys. Now I will say this, those of you who know me who have already noticed that this device is rooted. But I will show you, I am running stock Android and the stock kernel. So there you go. I only root to use exposed framework, so I'm not running any custom ROMs on this. So it is still a fair fight. I prefer the soft keys over the physical home button. Those of you who know me know I've done a rant against soft keys, or excuse me, physical home keys in the past against Samsung, and it makes even more sense with a tablet than it does with a phone, because when you're using a tablet, chances are you're going to be changing your orientation quite often. I find that I use tablets more as multimedia devices. I watch a lot of videos on them, YouTube, I watch movies, and I want to have those buttons consistently at the bottom of the screen. You don't have that option here because the physical home button is always going to be at the bottom of the screen in portrait, and deciding on which way you hold the tablet will be on the left or the right. Another issue I have with the design of the Galaxy Tab is the speaker placement. Okay, now right now it's ideal because the tablet's lying flat, but most of the time we don't listen to videos or music with the tablet lying flat. We're usually holding it, and in that case your hand will cover these speakers. Now the Galaxy Tab speakers are pretty bad. They're not that great. The speakers on the Galaxy Tab are phenomenal, and I'm going to show you that right now. So we're going to play our recent Grammy winner. And we're going to start off with the the G-Pad. So we'll put
I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my address.
Okay, not bad. Okay, not the best speakers in the world, but still doable. Now listen to the Galaxy Tab.
I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my address.
There's no way to get around it. The sound is just superior on the Galaxy Tab versus the G-Pad. So now if you notice the screen here, we're going to talk about the screen right now. Look at how much, if you can see that, how much whiter the Galaxy Tab is over the G-Pad. The colors are so much cooler on the Galaxy Tab compared to the warm colors on the G-Pad. Now this is a double-edged sword for me, because in one instance it looks great. I'm going to show you a couple of examples here. We're going to go to Google now. Okay. So, make sure we have everything loaded. All right. So you can see here that the whites are just so much more cooler than the warmth on the G-Pad. Now I call this a double-edged sword because at night when I'm using this, even at the dimmest setting, it hurts my eyes. If I'm reading something, an email, going on a website that has a predominantly white background, it hurts my eyes. I get headaches after about 5 minutes of using it. That's not the case with the G-Pad, and I'm sure that that's not the case with everybody. I'm sure I'm in the vast minority of people that happens to. I gave this tablet to my brother. He has perfect vision, same problem. After about 5 minutes his eyes started to hurt. I wear glasses. I don't know what exactly it is. Maybe it's the contrast between the dark font and the white background. I do notice that the fonts are significantly smaller on the Galaxy Tab than they are on the G-Pad. And that has to do with the fact that the Galaxy Tab really does shrink everything down, okay, to fit that sharpness with their resolution. Whereas the G-Pad kind of pushes everything out, but still retains sharpness. The G-Pad looks fantastic. There's no pixels. Everything looks sharp on the G-Pad. They just look sharper on the Galaxy Tab, but there's a sacrifice there because look at all the wasted screen real estate you have. Okay, I would prefer if the Galaxy Tab did this and stretched everything out. You're still going to be sharp. I don't understand why they had to do it this way. I'll show you another example of that, which is even more prevalent, which is in Google+. And I just kind of showed you the problem right there. So if I go to click on this, notice here that the Galaxy Tab shrunk everything down to fit more information on the screen. I like that. I'm a fan of how it does that. It reminds me of the desktop experience. Okay, it does kind of sacrifice on scrolling because it is loading more information at the same time, where Galaxy Tab seems to, or the G-Pad seems to scroll a little bit better because it's not showing as much information at the same time. Oops. So, but let's say I want to respond to a message here. Okay, so here's Carl Draper. He posted a screenshot, and I want to comment on this. Okay, so I click on that, and it takes me to his post. Now I want to comment on this. look at what it did. To keep up on that sharpness, the Galaxy Tab had to shrink the comment window down. I prefer this over this. I mean, this is stupid. Look at all this wasted screen. I've got an 8-inch tablet, and the response window is smaller than my phone. I think they got to work on that. This should look like that. No doubt about it. Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about stock versus TouchWiz. We all know what you get with stock. Stock hasn't necessarily changed. I am using the Google Now launcher because I believe that is the preferred method of using stock Android. I think that's where Google will be going towards. So with stock Android using the Google Now launcher, it's pretty much the same thing. The biggest difference obviously is the translucent navigation and notification panel, as well as the Google Now being able to get looked at when you swipe to the left. So, and then it's the same as it's always been. TouchWiz has changed. Samsung's done a very good job of optimizing the tablet experience with a lack of tablet optimized apps that you get with Android. And what do I mean by that? They used Flipboard to create this magazine UI. So I'm going to scroll over. So what this is you've got 3 home screens that you can mess around with and add different types of widgets that give you a magazine-like feel to them. And you can arrange these in different ways. So I'm going to manipulate this a little bit. So I'm going to pinch in, and if I hit change layout, you see it changes the way it looks. So if I say, you know what, I like that, I'm going to go with that. So now it changes it. You can also add applications to these panels. Okay, the applications are limited to only what Samsung has. So these are the, you can use Samsung. You can use basically these apps plus YouTube. All right. Let me scroll over. These are the social networks that you can use. There's no Facebook and there's no Google Plus. Right. Basically, the only ones I would actually use would probably be YouTube and Twitter. Some of you who use LinkedIn or Flickr would use it too. And you can populate one of these pages with those. And the other one is your Flipboard, your news aggregators. So wherever there's a check mark, that shows that on this particular page I'm using that widget. If I click on this one, I'm only using the business widget, but I'm using YouTube on this one. So if I go to this, okay. Now I'm hoping that Samsung opens this up to third-party developers so that they can start adding their applications to this type of UI to add to the experience, because right now it's rather limited. Okay, it's a nice concept, but it's got a couple of bugs. For one, let me go into the Flipboard page here. You'll notice that there's a menu key on every single pane here. If I go to click on that, I get this load screen. And this load screen will continue to load until it gives me an error at the top of the screen. And I'm not going to waste your time with it, but it will continue to do this. I have yet to be able to go into settings from this page, which is sad because I can't change when the feed gets updated because of that. So all of these images here have been on the tablet for the last day unless I physically go and hit the refresh button on every single one. I'm always going to be looking at the same ones. The other problem I have, and this is a problem with the tablet in general, is its performance is inconsistent. By no means is the G-Pad a lag-free device, but with the Galaxy Tab Pro, it seems like it's either buttery smooth or it lags terribly. I can't recreate it because it's so inconsistent. It doesn't do it all the time, but other people who have used this tablet other people who have used this tablet have said the same thing. I've literally had this tablet crash when it's in mid-transition. And it usually happens with the magazine UI. It doesn't necessarily lag with regular home screens. This always seems to be consistent. But with the magazine UI, a lot of times it's buttery smooth, and then all of a sudden it lags terribly. And the same thing goes with just about any other scrolling application. Facebook, Google Plus are two that sometimes it just stutters and it takes away from the experience. I don't have that kind of experience here. There are parts that lag on this, but I know when they lag. But for the most part, especially when going from one home screen to the next, it never lags. Regardless of what launcher I use, stock, Google Now, Nova, even Themer, everything is buttery smooth when transitioning from one home screen to the other. Okay. Every now and then I get a stutter on this, but it's not as bad as this. When this stutters, I've had this tablet crash. Okay. Now, as far as battery life goes, that's another important aspect when deciding on a tablet. The battery life on the G-Pad is good. The Galaxy Tab is better. This will last you about a day and a half. This will last you about almost 2 full days. It took me a while to figure that out because there was a problem with how the battery percentage was being displayed. Even after I killed the battery and charged it fully, every time I charged this, every time I put it on the charger and took it off the charger, whatever that percentage was, it stayed at. And I posted a screenshot on this on my Google Plus feed. I had this tablet on for over 4 hours. It's still registered at 100%. I had the factory reset the device to fix that. Unfortunately, that still did not fix the Flipboard problem. So I'm going to stop it there, guys. I'm going to make a part 2 of this video, finishing it off. If you like what you've seen so far, hit that subscribe window below. If you have any questions, please question me in the comments section. I'll be happy to answer them. Part 2, I'll be talking about availability, development, the different types of storage that you have available to you, and we'll basically wrap up what my final thoughts are on both tablets. So, until then, guys, thanks for watching.